I got this journal 2 or 3 months ago at least, shortly after the beginning of the year. And the reason that I got this was because my mother, for years and years, kept a log of all the books that she read. In fact, for years, she kept a little spiral notebook, and when she finished a book, she would write down the author, the name of the book, and the day she finished it. She also frequently set reading goals for herself. Most years, her goal was to read at least 52 books a year, and most years she actually did achieve or even go beyond that particular goal. But I've kept a reading journal in different forms. I've kept it in the past on a Word doc. I've kept it in spreadsheets. I've kept it in little spiral notebooks. But when I found this one from Cultivate What Matters, I knew it was something that I needed to add. So I'm just going to give you a sneak peek over my shoulder and let you look inside. First thing I like about this is the quality of it. You can see it's a pretty hardback book. It's not going to come apart easily, and it's about a ½ inch thick. You also can get different versions of the cover, and I will leave a link in the description below so you can go to their website, check out the other covers, and pick one that really speaks to you. I happen to like this one. I think it's beautiful. Notice inside it's finished out nicely, and you've got a nice little ribbon bookmark here. The pages are bound in very well. At the beginning, you've got some information here on how to become a cultivated reader. And it's got a place where you can check off some reading goals for this particular season of life. You can, journal a little bit here on, as a reader, what worked in the last year and what didn't work in the last year. And then some places for you to put down the things you like to read, why you like to read, some areas that you would like to grow through reading, which can help you to hone in and be a little more specific in some of the titles and things that you choose. How you like to read. Personally, I like to read anyway. I used to do a lot of audiobooks when I would travel, but these days I'll either use a physical book or, I have to admit, I read lots and lots of books on my Kindle. And the kinds of things you like to read and how you tend to find books. Then this part right here where I've got the little bookmark is a place that you can track your reading habit. Now, I'm going to admit right up front, I am not always as good about coloring in the days that I read as I should be. I try to do it, but sometimes it does get away from me. So this is not always accurate, but it is a good way for you to kind of keep track. That way, if you are not meeting some specific reading goals, it might help you to identify that, well, maybe I didn't read 4 books last month because I only read 4 days. So it can be helpful in that respect. Then something that I have done for myself for years is I have set myself some particular goals I want in terms of the specific books that I want to read. This particular journal here, part of what I like, is it has several pages for you to record the books you want to read. I've recorded some, but you've got several pages here where you can make note of a particular title, the author that has written it, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, and whether or not someone recommended it to you. You can then come back and check off as you read the books, so you can see how you're coming along in your progress. And you've got about 5 pages of that, so you've got a plenty good place to record it. For those books that maybe a friend tells you about, that you tell yourself, whoa, I need to make sure I remember to read that book. This is the place to go to write that down so that you don't forget. Then you've got this cute little spread right here, books read, and if you like, you can color in the books as you read them. I believe there are 100 of these, and you don't have to color them in, but if you wish to, so that you can visually see your progress, you can color in the books with highlighter or crayon or colored pencils or something after you read the books. Then here is the heart of this. You have 100 pages where you have a place to record the title of a book that you've read, the author, the number of pages, and who it was recommended by, or if you found it on a blog, or if a video, recommended it, whatever. You can also mark down whether you bought it, borrowed it, listened to it, or whether it's a reread, when you started and finished it. And then I really like this section right here because, first off, I love quotes. I have been for years keeping a big spiral notebook full of quotes and thoughts that I get when I read particularly nonfiction books. And this is a place where you can record some of those quotes, or where you can record some of those thoughts that come to you, or some inspiration or flashes of creativity, or anything else that comes to you as you're reading this book. Then down here at the bottom, if you choose to, it's got a place for you to rank the craft of the book, how much you enjoyed it, how insightful you thought it was, and the overall rating that you gave it. I like that overall part because it helps me remember that, oh yeah, this is a book I would recommend to others, or yeah, it was all right, but I don't know that they'd love it enough for me to recommend it. Then, after each 20 pages to record your books, you've got a 2-page spread here where it lets you stop, and on each of these it has a different quote or a different inspirational saying and a different reflection question. This one says, what are your childhood memories of reading and books, and how did they shape the reader you are today? This question is very easy for me to answer. My childhood memories of reading and books, they are tied directly 100% to my mother. My mother never, as far as I know, went without a book. I'm sure when she was in the hospital sick, if she had a moment she felt good, she was probably reading a book. But she was an avid reader. She read to me and my brother from the time we were little bitty. And one of the things that she taught us both was anytime we went somewhere, like if we got hauled with her and my grandmother to the dentist or whatever, she encouraged us from the time we were little bitty kids. She told us, you're going to be bored waiting for us in the dentist. Take a book to read. And to this day, I am never bored when I go to the dentist or to the doctor. Even if I'm waiting with my husband or waiting with my father, I'm not bored because I have something to read, because my mother taught us that from a very young age. And how it shaped the reader that I am today, I try and read in a variety of genres, and I try to make sure that I am constantly reading something, because I just believe it's a habit that we need to indulge in as much as possible. And I also believe that you can learn nearly anything if you can read. In fact, she always said, she told a joke years ago that she had a friend who got married young like my mother did, and that at her wedding shower, somebody asked the mother of the friend who just got married if she taught her to cook, and the woman's response was, the woman was an English teacher, the woman's response was, I didn't teach her to cook, but I taught her how to read, and it's pretty much the same thing. So anyway, every 20 pages, you've got a place here where you can stop and reflect, and I like that. So you go through here, and you've got 100 full pages for you to record notes and information about the books that you read. I figure for me, that'll do me at least a year. It might even do 2. I don't always get 52 books read during the year, but it's definitely going to work for me for a year. Then at the back, we've got several different page spreads. This one is about cultivating your reading life. And I do truly agree with this statement. It says reading is one of the best ways to expand your horizons, to learn, to grow, to try new things. Use this bucket list as inspiration to continue cultivating your life as a reader and have a little fun doing it. And so you've got a list of some items to read through, that some of those might appeal to you and might be something that you think, yeah, I'd like to do that. It's something I've never done, but that I would like to do. Or you could go through and you could check off the things that you have done in the past. For example, I have reread a favorite book from when I was younger. I've shopped at a local bookstore. I've read memoir. I've read nonfiction. Some things I've not done. I've not, well, let's see, I've not borrowed a book from a little free library. That sounds kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever attended a book club meeting. Well, I take it back. I've attended a virtual book club meeting. So anyway, there are things that you could do this in different ways. You could make this for things you want to make sure that you do in the future, and you could also use it a way to check off things that you've done in the past. Just kind of use it as a fun little quiz if you want. Then this next one is about the book list. And some books, even though you've got them recorded back here in the pages, you may want to make special note of. This one gives you a page to record your favorite fiction books. And those may be from things that you've recorded up in here, or they may be from books in the past, however you choose to read it. Then you've got a page for your favorite nonfiction books, your favorite childhood favorites. I remember as a child, I absolutely loved and adored Nancy Drew mystery books. I also liked Trixie Belden and the Hardy Boys, but those were some of my absolute favorites, in addition to A Wrinkle in Time, which was one of my all-time favorites when I was young. Then it's got a place to record some things that books have taught you, and some of the books that you are the most likely to recommend to other people. And then you've got some blank pages where you can pick a topic of your own to write and reflect on. And then this section right back here is some quotes. Now, I have for years kept a big spiral notebook where I recorded quotes and things from books that I read. But this gives you a place to record them all in one nice place together. Gives you a place to record the title of the book, what page number you found the particular quote on, to write out the quote. This is important because I frequently will remember a particular quote I read in a book, but I don't always recommend who the author of it was or what the name of the book was so that I can attribute it correctly, and that's my bad. I need to be better about this. So I like this. You've got several pages where you can record these quotes. Then you've got a little place back here. It's a little 2-page spread for your lending library. If you loan physical copies of books to friends and others, you've got a place to record the title of the book, what the date was, who you loaned it to, and when or whether they have returned it or not. So it just gives you a way to keep track of those physical books that you have paid your money for that are special to you. And then the final section back here is some end-of-season reflections. You've got a place to record books you'll recommend most, a favorite reading memory, maybe some favorite new authors. Every year I discover some new authors that I've not read before, but that I really enjoy their work. I've got a place to record some books that surprised or taught me the most. I like this one here about books that surprised me. I read a quote several years ago, and again, my bad, I didn't write it down so I could attribute it. But the quote said, "We will be the same people that we are right now in 5 years from now, except for the people we meet and the books we read." And that really made an impression on me. And I do believe that it's good when books surprise us, or they challenge our thinking, or cause us to examine a long-held belief system or a viewpoint, or when they broaden our perspective. That's probably a good thing for us to do to keep ourselves growing. And then a place to record favorite fiction and favorite nonfiction books. So I just think this book has a lot of pros to it. Like I said, it's one that can go on my shelf then for ages instead of just the spiral notebooks that I've done in the past. And then when I fill this one up, whether it's at the end of the year or whether it's, further out, I can go and get another one with a different color and start the process all over again. If you are a reader, if you are someone who enjoys reading, who likes to reflect on and remember the things that you've read, if you're someone who likes to keep track so that you can use it as a measure of your personal growth, this is a product I highly recommend. Again, it's well made, it's from Cultivate What Matters, and I will leave a link below.